Well, Charlie, something new is happening in your life.
Yes, indeed.
One's moving from one side of the footlights to the other.
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm going to be making my off-Broadway debut in this year's International Midtown Theatre Festival.
But not just as an actor, as a writer, too.
Yes. This is a play. It's based on some short stories that I've written over the years, and it is called How I Found an Affordable Apartment in Manhattan Without Really Trying.
Oh, it's not the Upper West Side of Manhattan?
Well, actually, yes.
The title is so long you can't even remember.
It depends on the marquee, you know.
Okay.
But the original title was How I Found an Affordable Apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan Without Really Trying, and Other Strange But True Confessions of an Indian Chief.
By Charles Gross.
By Charles Gross, yes. And what originally happened was I had written some stories, and I would always tell them. And my wife, after hearing them for the upteenth time, got so sick of it. She says, "Why don't you just make a play out of it and tell it that way?" And so I did.
See, you can't get... See, she wasn't really trying to tell you that. But what she wanted to do is just be quiet. But I guess you took her literally.
I did, and she actually has consented to come and see me do it.
Wow!
It starts off in 1990 and kind of goes on till the early 2000s.
Now, is this autobiographical?
For the most part, it is.
So, is she a character in the play?
Not really. I mean, I do mention the fact that I am married at some point.
Do you mention the kids?
I do. Yes.
What are your two kids' names?
Sarah and Miriam.
Give a big shout out to them right now.
Okay. Hey, girls.
Now go to sleep. But now the most important thing I have to ask about this show.
Yes.
Am I in it?
Actually, no.
Oh. How can it be any good then?
Well, I don't really discuss my professional life.
Okay.
With it, I guess maybe you'll be in the sequel. Actually, I did.
The sequel. How I Met the Biggest Pain in the Behind I ever.
Well, interestingly enough, I did write a TV pilot based on it, which was called A Small Island Off the Coast of New Jersey, and there was a character based on you in it.
Uh-oh.
So I will have to show it to you. But in this case, basically, I tell how I moved to the city, how I found my first apartment.
And this is a one-man show, correct?
It's a one-man show, yes. And certain interesting things, some things that happened to my life, for example, why I kept a car in Manhattan.
Yeah, I asked you that for years.
Indeed. And it's kind of a Spalding Gray meets Jerry Seinfeld type of thing, with just a dash of How I Met Your Mother thrown in for good measure.
Whatever. Now, is this a full two-act play, or is this a one-act?
I think it is a one-act.
And are you on a double bill, or is it...
No, it's a single show. It runs about 90 minutes. I don't think we're going to... Yeah, I know. I didn't realize how... It's not easy to talk for 90 minutes.
No.
So I'm kind of practicing it just...
Maybe you should cut it down a little.
To get my strength up. Maybe we need an intermission. I don't know. But also touches on... things that touched a lot of people in the city, such as 9/11, the blackouts of 1965 and 2003.
Where were you in 65?
I was living in Riverdale with my parents.
Really?
Yes. So I do remember the 65 blackout well. I remember the 2003 blackout. You asked about my daughters. Well, I
remember that one.
We were at Toys R Us.
I remember.
And I was putting them on the Ferris wheel in Toys R Us. And just as they threw the switch, all the power went out.
But wasn't there another blackout in the city in the late 80s?
There was one in 1977, which I allude to briefly.
Okay.
So, yes, we cover the three major blackouts over the last...
Because I wouldn't want you to miss
over
those.
the last 40 years. I do talk about 9/11 from my actual perspective of that day. Mm-hmm. And something very dear to my heart, the Macy's Parade.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, yes. So,
you didn't ask me about it. I had very special memories of that parade, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, what...
We'll have to discuss that in therapy one day.
I guess we will.
When we're in couples therapy.
I guess we will. But a lot of it is the good and the not so good about living in the city. And
just for an example, what's your favorite part of the play?
Ooh, I think the part I enjoy the most, I guess, I enjoy the whole thing, but I certainly enjoy telling people how I found an affordable apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Well, that's why it's the title of the play.
Without really trying.
Could you give us a little hint of how you did that? Give us like 2 words, just to clue us in.
2 words? My friend Abby.
Ooh. Abby who?
Well, my friend Abby.
Abby Normal?
Who told, that's a different play, who called me up and said, since you're looking for an apartment, you told me you wanted to find an apartment, I thought you should know about this. Now, you see, Abby at the time was looking for her own apartment. You see, coming to New York is like getting high for the first time. You experience the city as
Charles,
a tourist.
We're learning so much about you.
You come to see a show, and then you want more. You get addicted. You want to score the ultimate high in Manhattan, and that's an affordable apartment. And Abby had scored that. The problem was she was so high, she couldn't come down. She had to keep apartment hunting. So she decided to find one for a friend, and fortunately, that was me.
Oh, and do you still keep in touch with Abby anymore?
Abby and I have not spoken in some time, unfortunately. I don't think she's living in the city anymore.
Well, can you give a shout out to Abby? Because I think you should get a free ticket.
Thank you again.
What's her last name?
Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't think Abby wants her last name on the air. Abby knows who she is.
But
Abby,
if she comes to the theater,
the same phone number, call me. We'll give you a free ticket. Interestingly, the hardest part was talking about the car. It was a 79 Cutlass Supreme that you rode in many times.
Ceiling falling down on my head. It was lovely.
Yeah, well, and what happened was, why I brought it to the city, why I kept it, and having to let go, which turned out to be very hard, even though I hadn't driven the car in quite some time.
In years?
Yes.
It just stayed in the park. It was taking up like $1 million parking space in the city. It was unbelievable.
Interestingly, she is still on the road.
She?
Yes.
Oui.
Yes. So, unfortunately, no longer mine. And
so, now this is being done on the auspices of what group?
The International Midtown Theatre Festival.
And how long has that been going on?
I think it's 9 years. And there will, unfortunately...
And about what dates are this going to be?
This will be late July, early August.
And how can you find the dates and what theaters are going to be in?
I think it's called Stage Left. All of that information is now running across the bottom of the screen.
Stop running across there.
And
it's running across my chest. Ow, ow, ow.
It's something I'm very excited about, and I hope people will come and see it.
I hope so, too. Well, I'll be there.
Okay.
With bells on. Do I have to be there more than once?
No, you only have to see it once.
Okay. But if I like it, can I come back again?
You can come back again, yeah.
I'm not paying, though.
Yeah, we'll give you critics pass.
Oh, my God, don't review. I'm dying about thinking about reviewing this. Okay. What happens if I don't like it? Impossible! Like a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carriage. It's impossible.
Okay, well, I actually don't talk about Cinderella.
Okay.
In the play. Although, interestingly, I do talk about Seeing the Sound of Music.
Really?
In the play, yes.
Which, the movie or?
The stage show at Lincoln Center with Debbie Boone.
Oh.
And Cinderella was also at Lincoln Center. Although not with Debbie Boone, and it's not mentioned in my play. So the play is How I Found an Affordable Apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan Without Really Trying, and Other Strange But True Confessions of an Indian Chief. It'll be at the International Midtown Theatre Festival, and I hope you'll come and see it.
An Indian chief? We didn't even get into that. Well, that's going to be for another time, Charles.
Okay.